But again, it just tells the story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days, is it?
Well, happy Wednesday, friends. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'm taking myself right off. So we're going to have a rainy day this direction. That's hilarious. For the next couple of days. And it looks like some of the places that are needing some fire might be getting a little bit of rain as well. So I hope you guys are all staying safe and warm. So Bryan Kohberger, there's a bit to go through again. There's that motion to lift that gag order that we haven't looked at. And I'm curious, why does he need more time to decide his alibi? Is that a normal thing? Because it sure sounds odd to me. And then we've got a couple of documents that we can go through that have a little bit of information as far as these gag orders go. I can go back on screen now. Give me 2 seconds here. We'll do this. And then I'm going to do this. Yeah, caught me. So let's take a look here first. I did a video on Michaela Standridge yesterday. So if you guys have not seen it, maybe take a peek. And if you have, could you maybe share that about? It really, really needs to get out there. This family is going crazy, justifiably so. So Idaho suspect Bryan Kohberger wants more time to decide on an alibi. Okay. I don't know how that works. Idaho suspect attorneys are asking for more time to give the state a notice of an alibi for his defense. He's 28 years old and is on trial for the deaths of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. The request comes after Idaho prosecutors on May 26th filed a motion demanding notice for Kohberger's alibi, which the Idaho Supreme Court defines as evidence proving that the defendant was not present at the time and place of the commission of the alleged offense, for the alleged offense for which the defendant is on trial. So what is he saying? He's not sure what he was doing that day? Well, we can probably tell him because his car and his phone shows everything. Kohberger's public defender, Ann Taylor, said Friday in a filing that prosecutors have so far disclosed 51 terabytes of information that includes thousands of pages of discovery, thousands of photographs, hundreds of hours of recordings, further many gigabytes of electronic phone records and social media data has been disclosed. So there is always this. We're not going to look into it today, but we have previously, and we might again. This is about the gal that they believe he was stalking before this happened. I still think he looks creepy even in a suit. Some are saying differently, but he's still creepy AF in my opinion. So discovery, or the process of sharing information between prosecutors and the defense in the Kohberger case, has been voluminous and ongoing. The suspect's defense team will continue to both navigate discovery disclosed by the state and investigate the charge against Kohberger, she said, adding that giving notice of an alibi now is premature, as wading through an extensive information makes the case incomplete. But if he's got an alibi, he's got an alibi. They can do so many messed up things in the court that I truly do not understand. Again, how is he getting a $200 an hour defense lawyer? One of my pet peeves, two of them actually. Prosecutors allege that PhD student at the nearby Washington State University studying criminology drove to the victim's home, just steps from the University of Idaho campus, and Chapin's fraternity in the early mornings of November 13th. What's going on here? I was wondering what that Band-Aid is all about. He then allegedly entered the home and attacked 4 young victims multiple times as they lay in bed on the second and third floors, unaliving them and apparently and questionably sparing the other 2 roommates on the first floor. Well, if I remember correctly, only Bethany was on the first floor, and Dylan was on the second floor with Xana and Ethan. She's the one that would open her door, close her door, open her door, close her door. And then after seeing him, supposedly went and tucked herself into bed and woke up 8 hours later. I don't know, guys. And what is it about this that's going around that everyone knew this by 9 o'clock in the morning? That information came out at the very beginning of all of this, and it's coming out again. So investigators say Kohberger's vehicle took an indirect route back to his apartment in Pullman, Washington that morning. His car was spotted near the crime scene again later that day, according to the affidavit. Now, if I remember correctly, that was about 9 o'clock in the morning that he went to possibly, allegedly, check out his handiwork and what the response was. Authorities arrested Kohberger at his family home in Pennsylvania on December 30th. The suspect has pled not guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder, and 1 count of felony burglary. Yeah, suit, orange, doesn't matter. He looks creepy. So his trial date was set for October 2nd, but it could be postponed if the defendant waives Kohberger's right to a speedy trial. Oh my, oh my. I have questions. Well, good morning, James. I hope you're doing well. Are you guys getting rained on out there? What's your weather like? We've had rain for about the last week. What's going on here? I'm dragging. Am I having problems with my camera? Orange is the new black. And he does look like the guy from American Psycho. He really does. Oh my God. Like the information that they're giving out right now. James, can you think of any reason why they need time? Oh, beauty. Nice weather. So can you see any reason why the defendant would be asking for longer time to give his alibi? I don't understand that wording in all of this. I'll be interested to see what else we come up with. Not a cloud in the sky. So nice. So nice. We'll get rain for another couple days here. And we're supposed to go on holidays here. So I'm hoping that we get a little bit of good weather. Okay, so what's going on here? This is an attempt by the prosecution to shut them up. Emotions run high in Bryan Kohberger's gag order hearing. Did y'all watch that? I watched it after the fact, so I could kind of go through. Yeah, equally as creepy. Let's check this out.
Keep It Quilted means you keep it the best. 3 layers of plush comfort you can see and feel.
And this is First at 4. The man accused of murdering the 4 University of Idaho students was back in court today. Earlier this afternoon, a judge heard arguments from the attorney for the Gonsalves family about why he should be able to speak more freely to the media. Shannon Gray represents the Gonsalves family, whose daughter, Kaylee, was stabbed to death last November in Moscow. 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger is charged with her murder and the murder of her friends Madison Mogen, Dana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Currently, a non-dissemination order, or GAG order, is in place, and that order prevents those involved in the investigation or with knowledge of any evidence from commenting about it to the media. Gray filed a motion to clarify the order because he said it's too vague and doesn't allow the victims' families to speak. Before today's arguments began, Latah County District Judge John Judge apologized to the victims' families for mispronouncing some of their names during Kohberger's arraignment on May 22nd.
I also want to
I guess this was the respectful way to go, but I was quite surprised when he did this, to be honest with you. I don't think I've seen that before.
acknowledge and apologize because at the arraignment, I did stumble over a couple of names, Kaylee's name and Zaina's name. And I want to explain that. I was up all night, really ill, probably food poisoning, and I was not at full potential. Probably also some emotion and nerves as I read those names. And I'm sorry. So that's my apology for that. I know some people were concerned about that and I wanted to address it. Apparently,
The judge ended today's hearing by saying he wouldn't be deciding on the motion today, but would issue a written ruling as soon as possible. A second hearing regarding cameras in the courtroom also happened today, and you can read the very latest at ktvb.com.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, there's just, in my opinion, some strange things floating around with this case. Absolutely. Happy belated birthday to Kaylee, who would have just turned 22. It's a lot, guys. Suit-clad Bryan appears in court. Coming. You're not going to do this to me, are you? No. Beautiful picture. They definitely look like they'd be sisters. Autumn Goncalves. A suit-clad Bryan Kohberger appeared in court Friday over the gag order in the University of Idaho quadruple slaying case, the day after the sister of victim Kaylee Goncalves posted a heartbreaking tribute on what would have been Kaylee's 22nd birthday. Happy birthday, sissy. I love you so much. I wish I could feel one more hug, see one more smile, and hear one more I love you. Autumn Goncalves posted on her Instagram. You deserved your life more than anyone I know. You worked so hard for everything you had, and you loved your life. You appreciated all the little things, and that's a big deal. So many people are so blessed, and they don't appreciate it. But that was never you. You appreciated it all. Learning to live without you is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Something I should have never have had to do. Autumn also paid tribute to the other victims, Ethan Chapin, 20, Dana Kernodle, 20, and Madison Mogen, 21, who were all finishing their final year at the state school when they were attacked allegedly by Bryan Kohberger. They should be here with Maddie, Dana, and Ethan in your home getting ready to celebrate your birthday. Oh, my goodness. I know we'll meet again, but we should have never had to part like this. I keep positive because I know that all you want, I love you, Kaylee, and I wish I could see the party Maddie is throwing for you right now. I hope it's the most beautiful day you've ever had. Oh my God, that's heart-wrenching. 5 children, and Kaylee was the middle child. The post was accompanied by an undated image of a much younger Kaylee carrying Autumn and another unidentified girl. Wow, eh? Better days. The most important thing for me to realize is that I am setting these goals as a lifestyle change. So this was... Autumn also shared a glimpse into her older sister's journal, which outlined Kaylee's future goals before her life was cut short. The most important thing for me to realize... Jasmine! To realize is I'm setting these goals as a lifestyle change. Let's hope she's running outside. Yes. So, no set end date. Kaylee wrote a list of intentions to her growing relationship with God, to make healthier behavioral choices, and to focus on her loved ones. Wow. Amazing goals. The journal also included a hefty list of the things and people she values, which include roommates Maddie Mogan and Zaina Kernodle. Social media post came just one day before the lawyer for the Goncalves family asked the judge to lift a gag order keeping attorneys and other parties from speaking to the media about these cases. Kohberger appeared in court Friday for the arguments to suspend the order, most of which was brought forward by a coalition of more than 30 media organizations claiming it violates the constitutional guarantee of free speech and free press. The accused quadruple attacker wore a black suit, a blue tie, and gelled hair for the hearing, as his lawyers insisted the gag order prevented prejudicial news coverage that could damage Kohberger's right to a fair trial. Do you know what? There has been not one thing that has popped up in this entire case that has made me personally question the validity of these charges. I honestly believe they have the right guy. And I honestly, my opinion, not an expert, he did this alone. These are my opinions. He was a strong kid. I mean, don't let his wimpy behavior confuse the fact that as far as physically strong, the kid was a jogger. And yeah. So, will there be cameras in court? They are still deciding that, James. I'm not quite sure. I hope the judge gives his ruling soon. It would be nice to know. But what they're doing is they're going down the alley of the Lori Vallow trial, saying, well, it was done there. So how come, this isn't being offered here? I think at the point that they're trying this case and what have you, I believe information should come out as it comes out, as long as it doesn't hurt the case, but I've not heard of any other suspects. I haven't heard of, there was those two, what was his name? Dominic and his sketchy little friend there. They're sketchy, but I don't know that they were involved. I'm still wondering. I tried to do a video while we were out and about yesterday. Well, it didn't turn out so well. I posted it. I posted it as a blooper. So let's see here. Goncalves family to lift gag order in Bryan Kohberger. Let's see here. I might bump this up for you a little bit. Then we'll take a look at some of this paperwork. Judge hears oral arguments and reviews evidence in motion to lift non-dissemination order. So this was still on the 9th. The family of Kaylee Goncalves, who was one of the 4 victims in the Idaho off-campus house last November was in court as Judge John Judge reviewed their motion to contest the gag order in the case. Did you guys watch that? I mean, he did not, he poked a lot at the Goncalves lawyer. So I'll be really interested in what he rules. A non-dissemination order was put in place in early January 2023 after police named Bryan Kohberger as the suspect in the case and took him into custody. The Goncalves family has submitted a motion to reverse the non-dissemination order, stating that it is placing a unique, undue burden on the families of the victims in this case. I'd like to know in history, as far as a lot of this goes, most people sadly hear what's going on in court. I believe. I mean, I feel really bad for these families, but I don't know that anything is being differently. So attorney Shannon Gray, representing the Goncalves family, immediately started arguing that the judge stated that the order was too broad, going too far as to say he didn't think the judge had the authority to better define what could and could not be said. That kind of put a spark in that judge's butt. The prosecution, led by Bill Thompson, stated that Gray is preventing investigators from interviewing his clients and making misrepresentations. I don't know how that works. Thompson also submits that the gag order is not only overly vague, as the Goncalves family are potential witnesses for trial and sentencing in the case. So I have seen this argued. Okay, how could they possibly be witnesses for what happened? They were in another state. They have nothing to do with this. But as far as sentencing after the trial, yeah, the family always gets to speak. That's nothing abnormal. That doesn't mean that they haven't been able to be up as witnesses. The games that are being played. The defense says no matter what someone says or does, it'll be an attack on Kohberger, citing the need for his safety. He's safe, and that people talking about the case could cause a frenzy, leading Kohberger to a firing squad. And again, I think that's getting a little extreme. Are we even at the point where they're using a firing squad? I know that it was brought back, but are they using it? After hearing from all parties, the judge announced that he will not make a decision that day, and he will review the briefings and get a decision out shortly. The gag order essentially prohibits attorneys, prosecutors, law enforcement, and others from discussing anything with the media or the public about the trial or the investigation that is not part of public record. The intention of the order is to prevent prejudice due to pretrial publicity. The whole world does not know about Bryan Kohberger. If they could find O.J. Simpson people to stand on a jury, they can find Bryan Kohberger. Later today, an additional hearing to determine whether or not cameras will be allowed in the courtroom will be heard. So we did kind of talk about that, and I think he is waiting for, I think he's just waiting to see kind of what comes of this. The media, sorry, I got a little distracted. So this is the Associated Press and everybody wanting that reply to the memorandum on camera access in the courtroom. So these are all of the different press outlets. And it continues. So the state, Mr. Kohberger and interveners share my views that audiovisual coverage of this case. All agree the court ultimately has discretion to decide to allow visual or audio coverage. I'm going to bump this up, guys. Nobody seems to dispute that that most members of the impacted communities would be unable to observe the proceedings with their own eyes and ears, absent audiovisual coverage, or that there would be many benefits for the public and the criminal justice system if impacted members of the community could receive contemporaneous, complete, and objective evidence about the case as it is presented in the courtroom. Nonetheless, the state flagged some concerns about audiovisual coverage while largely deferring to the court, and Mr. Kohberger-MORE forcefully objects. Idaho Court Administrative Rule 45 largely addresses the concerns of the state and Mr. Kohberger raised. Some witnesses may be acutely affected by audiovisual coverage, but those concerns can be addressed as they come up and on an individual basis. The jury should hear only the evidence and arguments submitted to them. By Rule 45 regulates audiovisual coverage such that effectively only those aspects of the proceedings open to the public in the gallery are broadcasted. Interveners supplemental memorandum on camera access in the courtroom at 6-7, regardless of whether the court allows audio visual coverage, there is going to be large amounts of publicity surrounding the case. There is no greater risk to the potential jurors. Audio visual coverage as any information shared in open court. This is not broadcast, may be published by reporters who attend the proceedings. For that reason, the court will certainly instruct the jurors not to watch news coverage, just like they do in every other case. Like, look at everything we got to see in the Murdoch case. Do you hear the sugar gliders fighting? Hubby's trying to calm them down. They're back there scrapping, probably over peanuts. But the Murdoch case, same idea. I don't think that affected his trial whatsoever. And he was very well known. That family, very well known. As Judge Boyce noted in Lori Vallow's case, now this is what they're bringing in, is the Vallow case and how they were able to keep the cameras out. The court has likewise witnessed no misconduct on any part of the media during hearings in these cases. The presence of media during the hearing has in no way interrupted those proceedings, and attending media have been respectful and professional. State's brief on video and photographic coverage, those observations are surprisingly and consistent with Rule 47's carefully crafted regulations of the media's conduct. Finally, interveners appreciate Mr. Kohberger's concerns about certain images that have been used on social media. Prohibiting audio and video coverage will not eliminate the concerns, though, as those in the courtroom would publish similar, statements about their observations of Mr. Kohberger's appearance and demeanor to address Mr. Kohberger's concerns while still allowing impacted community members to view the proceedings. What do you guys think? This is just a lot of hoopla to me. It really, really is. They're just basically saying the same thing over and over. And I think it's just a matter of what they're going to choose to do. Hoopla. Do they, James? Almost all of them? The waterfall. Yeah, you know what? We went by there yesterday and it was gone already. It's usually 1 or 2 days a year. The dogs were terrified of it and I had Lizzie's, and she's 60, 70 pounds. You can see at the end of it, I was like, more transparency, the better. Agreed. Only soldiers would get a firing squad. Criminals should be hung or wired up to the mains. Yeah, it's just like, oh my God. Okay, I'm going to see this here. motion for an exception or the alternative extent. So I think this is them trying to say that they need more time for him to come up with a oh my word, with an alibi. Shouldn't he just know? Isn't that something you just know? Comes now, Bryan Kohberger, by and through his attorney Ann C. Taylor, public defender, and hereby requests the court to find good cause for an exception or, in the alternative, extend time for compliance with Idaho Code squiggly 19-519. This motion is made on the grounds that authorizes the court for good cause shown to order an exception to compliance with the statute. Good cause for an exception in Mr. Kohberger's case exists. Since Mr. Kohberger's arrest in late December, the prosecutor has disclosed 51 terabytes of information that includes thousands of pages of discovery, thousands of photographs, hundreds of hours of recordings, and further many gigabytes and electronic phone records. Social media data has been disclosed. Discovery is voluminous and still ongoing. Mr. Kohberger and his defense team continue to both navigate discovery disclosed by the state and investigate the charges against Mr. Kohberger. Compliance with is at a minimum premature, as wading through an extensive information that can make up a case is incomplete. Compliance with may treat into disclosures of protected information. The defense needs time to make the determination and consider evidentiary rules. As such, Mr. Kohberger respectfully requests an exception to the compliance with or an extension of time. Should the court not be inclined to grant this motion, counsel requests that this motion be set for hearing in order to present oral argument, evidence, and/or testimony to support. Requested time is 15 minutes. And I hereby certify that this is true copy. The 9th day of June, Lata, prosecuting attorney. And this is everybody that they emailed this to. And this is about the extension. Just don't know, guys. Those sugar gliders are giving him a run. Yeah, and how is that even, is that how it works? Like, give me all of your information and I'll see if I can find myself an alibi somewhere in there. That doesn't sound sus at all. Like, what the hell is that? This case is something else. I don't know, guys. This Ann Taylor, she seems like she's going to throw everything in but the kitchen sink to try and save this guy's arse. I think he's beyond saving. I think the closer we get to trial, and once this trial, if he doesn't plea, I think we're going to learn a shit ton that we thought we knew. I think there's lots of information out there to come out. Disclosure to defense should be withheld. Yeah. I don't know. This case is getting a lot of time put towards it. The media is covering it. They both have pretty large teams. Can you hear those girls fighting back there? Actually, it's the boys that fight over the peanuts. So I'm going to pop off and go save a sugar glider. So, I'm going to keep my eyes on this and see if I can't make some sense out of it and share what I learn. Join us on Discord, on Twitter. I'm on both. A lot of the people that join me here to watch the lives, they're also, and a great ideas, a bunch of really great people with lots of wonderful thoughts. So come on over and join us. And I'm going to go do my thing and save a sugar glider. Maybe save my man. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
you know, he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
But it's, again, it just tells the story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.